Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister, back with another episode of Cycle with Max. Today I want to talk about a really inexpensive little accessory that can help take out of riding, and that's called a chain catcher, or some people call it a chain keeper. And it's just basically a little gizmo that stops you from dropping your chain off of your little ring when you shift from big ring down to little. So that's the greatest chance of your bike dropping the chain, is that situation. And I explained in another video, I was talking about how your rear derailleur keeps tension on your chain. So any circumstance where you're moving from little ring to big ring or little cog to big cog, you're adding tension to the chain, that's no problem. It's when you're going the other way. Now, dropping cogs is a very small reduction in tension, no big deal. But when you go from this giant big ring down to this little ring in here, all of a sudden there's a moment where the chain will slap like this as it comes off, while the derailleur tries to take up the slack. Now, even a properly adjusted derailleur on a professional grade racing bike can still drop the chain if the circumstances just align it exactly the wrong way at the wrong moment, the wrong time. So sometimes it's in the pulse of your legs. Sometimes you hit a bump while the chain's derailing and it makes it slap additionally. It's bad luck when it happens, but it can happen. Unless you put on a chain keeper. Now, chain catcher. It's basically just a little finger that sits inside the small chain ring and makes it impossible for the chain to drop off inside of it. In a second here, I'm going to move the camera over and show you kind of what it looks like. You can find these cheap. It's actually sad that they don't come on every bike, and it's sad that particularly high-end bikes, high-end group sets still don't have them. You have to buy them. So there's some cheapo ones from SRAM for maybe $10 or something. And even the nicest one you can buy in the world is like $25 or $26 on Amazon or at your local bike shop or whatever. It's from K-Edge, and it's the K-Edge Pro. I think they have one, a regular one, it's about $16 or $17, and then the professional one's like maybe $26 or $27. There's no real difference. They all do the same thing. It's just kind of one's a little jazzier looking, but function-wise, there's no real major difference. The Pro one gives you a real microscopic adjustment, so if you're super finicky. But what it looks like, sorry about the bad camera work here, it is this little finger I'm touching right here, this little bar. And what you do is you remove the screw that holds your front derailleur on. Sorry about that. Hold the screw that holds your front derailleur on, and make sure you mark where it was, or hopefully you know how to set your derailleur height. But you can put a mark on your bracket if you need to with a Sharpie or some white out. So you put it back at the correct height, and you just replace the bolt with the K-Edge parts and tighten the derailleur back. And there's a second little tiny bolt here, and that has a little slot in it that allows you to toggle the, let me see if I can move this camera in here, sorry. Toggle the chain keeper. So, chain keeper's down here riding just inside the chain on the little ring. And what you want to do, the farthest the chain will be over is when you're on the biggest cog in the rear. And at that point, when the chain is as far inboard on the bike as it can possibly get, you move the chain keeper over until it touches the chain, and you can kind of hear it just try to drag and scratch a hair. And you're going to move it away just ever so slightly until all sound goes away, and then tighten it down there. And that's going to be as close and as snug as you can get it. And then this way, when you go to shift off of the big ring, there's no chance of your chain falling off to the inside. And now, a second benefit from this is, besides having your ride messed up and creating a lot of stress in your life while your group rides away and your chain's falling off of your bike, if you have a nice bike, dropping the chain down in there and having your cranks pinch it all against your beautiful carbon fiber frame and your fancy paint is a real bummer, and there's no way to get that back. So for a small investment, here's a little gizmo. Basically, anybody can afford to add to their bike that will make it more reliable and avoid those stressful moments and damage. So I'm Max. If you like these videos, please share them with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.